Good morning. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kelly Nierick, Senior Director of Products and Services for the Small Business Association of Michigan. And in partnership with Transamerica and Greystone Consulting, Farmington Hills, which is a partner of Morgan Stanley, SBAM offers an exclusive pooled employee retirement plan for our small business members. Our program is a perfect example of how our influence and strength in numbers can bring together a program led by top experts in the industry that most small businesses wouldn't be able to take advantage of on their own. I encourage you to visit our website to learn more about the program and how it may benefit you. I'll drop a link in the chat for you to click through. But joining us today is John Rogers with Greystone Consulting and Chelsea Dagnew with Transamerica. And we'll be reviewing information about House Bill 5461, which was introduced by Democratic State Rep Mike McFall. And it seeks to establish a state-facilitated retirement savings program in Michigan. And we'll talk about how the SBAM PEP may be a good solution for your small business. You're currently muted. However, you can use the chat feature as we go along and we can answer some questions. And then we'll also open up at the end of the presentation so that you can speak. So, John, please go ahead and get us started.
Thanks, Kelly, and thanks everybody for taking some time today to learn a little bit more about this program and some of the potential state mandates that are coming and connected to retirement plans. We're going to fly through this material pretty quick. We don't want to take too much of your time, and know that some of you have a stock market federal holiday for Juneteenth. So I want to make sure you can get back to thinking about that and celebrating that holiday. So I'm John Rogers. I am an institutional consultant with Greystone. Greystone's Morgan Stanley's institutional wealth management business. So what that means is we're focused on things like corporate retirement plans, foundations and endowments, more institutional business. And after a long RFP program that was directed by SBAM members, we were hired to be the investment fiduciaries for this PEP and helped launch the program along with Transamerica, which is where Chelsea works. So today we'll talk about the bill that was introduced, how retirement plan mandates are shaping up, potentially in Michigan, and then what has already happened nationwide. We'll talk a little bit about the Secure Act 2.0 and the Secure Act, which made these types of pooled plans that SBAM is sponsoring possible, and also importantly, created some tax credits that were incentives for small businesses to start the program. So, a little bit of a carrot and a stick that we're talking about here today. There are potentially mandates, but the good news is that there's also some tax credits to try to incentivize you to get ahead of this and get a retirement program going for your employees. So as Kelly kind of previewed this House Bill 5461 was introduced to establish a state facilitated retirement savings program. The retirement benefits super important. We have a bit of a retirement crisis in America, where workers need access to these types of plans. Many small businesses recognize that and are offering them, but the state's going a little bit further than that and potentially looking at kind of forcing people to use this plan. It's not necessarily a horrible plan in of itself, but it will, if you don't offer a different type of retirement plan, be that a 401k or a simple, the state will start to mandate that workers whose employees don't have access to a retirement benefit are automatically enrolled in the program. The program comes at no cost to employees, but businesses that don't comply with this mandate could incur state penalties. And I'm sure those penalties will be debated and where they ultimately land, but we'll see. But they've been significant in other states. The fines that aren't nominal, have an impact and have forced people to these programs. So this program is modeled after other programs that have already been adopted in other states. You can see from this chart that there are states in blue where legislation's passed and these kind of mandated IRAs have taken hold. So, close to us, Illinois already has a program. Colorado is the one that seems to be most closely associated with the plan that's been laid out, not adopted yet, laid out in Michigan. So, this is kind of nationwide. You've seen in yellow, legislation's been introduced in many other states, even if they haven't adopted it. But the bottom line is the government, state governments through mandates, and then the federal government through incentives like tax credits, really want companies to sponsor a retirement benefit program. So the program that Michigan has laid out is an auto IRA program. So that differs from some of the other retirement plan programs that are out there that you can offer as a small business. And frankly, those plans have better features to them. So this, if you really don't want to offer anything and just kind of comply with the state and offer this auto IRA so that you don't get fined, that's fine. But contributions for participants this year, if it was this plan, you're capped at $7,000. There's no employer contributions or matching funds that are available to incentivize people to participate in these programs, to attract and retain top talent. You're really just checking the box and giving them a place where they can make payroll deductions into their, a regular IRA plan. If you contrast that with some of the other plans that are available to you as a business owner, like a SEP or a Simple, the contribution limits are higher. SEPs are really for more for sole proprietors than they are for people that have multiple employees, and that's fine. It's a little bit better, but ultimately, to compete with larger businesses, you're going to want to offer a 401k. So people recognize 401k when they're in the job market. The contribution limits, for 2024, $23,000, much higher for both you and your employees as a business owner. You can make catch-up contributions once you're over the age of 50 of $7,500. And then if you want to, you can offer a profit sharing plan, matching, many different features that kind of put you on even footing with a bigger business when you're competing for employees. So, these state IRA plans likely are coming. This is the kind of thing that I'll defer to some of the other folks at SBAM on how they'll approach this. They definitely typically don't like mandates, but this is the type of thing, it's kind of hard to fight people who want to help people retire. These types of programs at a high level are something that employees should have access to. The question is, do you want to go with the state and comply with their program, or put something together that's your own? And SBAM knew that this type of thing could be coming. It's one of the reasons why they hired us to put together this pooled solution that's been really successful for employees. And one of the reasons it's been successful is because if you haven't sponsored a retirement plan before, there are tax credits available. So I'll pass it over to Chelsea and she can go through some of the details of the tax credits that are available if you don't already have a retirement plan.
Thank you, John. Yeah, so even though, we know that state mandates are coming down, these tax credits were available per the Secure Act that got passed and then got enhanced with Secure 2.0. So a lot of people thought that maybe the benefits of the tax credits of launching a 401k plan might go away with state mandates, and that doesn't necessarily seem to be the case. We're just continuing to see that there's incentivizing companies to start a retirement plan. So today, if you don't currently have a Simple or a SEP in place and you launch a 401k you are eligible to get $250 per eligible employee up to $1,000 for the first years. So the way that Matt eligible to participate, they don't actually have to be participating in the plan, but you choose eligibility requirements. If all 20 individuals can participate, you will receive the full $5,000 payout for the first 3 years. You do only receive what is used. And the good thing about the SBAM PEP is that the cost requirements to install and on an ongoing basis never go up to $5,000. So anything that you'll be writing a check for to get the plan going should be covered for at least the first 3 years. The added bonus that came with Secure 2.0 was the employer matching contribution tax credit. So this is nice that, you know, if you are simple to transition to a 401k plan, you could also qualify for these as well. But we are suggesting to consider, and if you do that and elect that feature, you can get up to $1,000 per employee back up to 50 employees. So if we were, you know, to do some simple math and call it 40 employees, and it just so happened that the contribution or the match from the employer added up to $40,000, the company can get $40,000 back in tax credits for the first 2 years. Years 3, 4, and 5, the percentage on that will go down to 75, 50, and 25%. So you're looking at years 3, $30,000 payout, years 4, $20,000 payout, and year 5, $10,000 payout. This is an excellent way and time knowing that mandates are install a 401k plan and know that anything that pocket costs to install it from the company is likely covered startup costs tax credit, and anything that's to employees as far as a matching contribution tax credit as well. So never a perfect time. We're always happy to do that math for you on your current employee demographic. I'm sorry and apologize if you can't hear me. Sounds like I'm in and out. John, is there anything you would like me to add to that?
No, I think that's a good summary of the startup tax credits and then the employer contribution credits, which, you know, are really, really enticing,
Awesome.
especially if you're going to offer a match. It kind of really gets you started, so that you can, you know, make sure that you can kind of offer that match for a long time. One question came through the chat: will employers that offer SEPs be compliant? Yes, the way that it's written right now, SEP's a retirement plan. You're offering a retirement plan to employees. So yeah, that would count as a retirement benefit being offered. So you wouldn't have to use the state mandated plan. As you grow, you know, a SEP, you may outgrow a SEP at a certain point as you hire more employees, but definitely counts as far as the mandates go in other states and what's been proposed in Michigan. So I'll shift gears a little bit. So, you know, we talked about state mandates that may be coming, some of the tax credits that are available under the Secure Act. One of the other important things, especially to this plan that was created in the Secure Act when it was first passed in 2019, was a pooled employer plan. So these pooled plan arrangements allow organizations like SBAM to sponsor their member base who don't really have a common nexus, and have them band together and offer a retirement plan. Some of the benefits of these pooled types of arrangements are really significant. But overall, you know, why would you offer a 401k plan aside from the fact that there are tax credits to do so and that the state may force you to offer something? They're convenient and flexible. They're, you know, if you haven't participated in a 401k plan, your contributions come out from your paycheck. Really easy way to save. They can either be pre-tax or Roth, and you'll get tax deferred earnings. There's an investment menu, a menu of investment options where you're able to invest in professional strategies. These things are diversified. Any funds that you put into these plans are always your funds. So they're portable if you move to a different organization. And as an employer, you may offer things like matching contributions or profit sharing plans that incentivize your employees to participate, helps them have a reason to stay at the company, and can also be beneficial for your personal financial situation. They can be a great tool for a small business owner. Some of the challenges and the reasons why a lot of small businesses weren't offering these plans, then these are really the things that SBAM recognized, and why they put this program together. With fiduciary liability, if you're the fiduciary, if you're sponsoring a retirement plan and it's just kind of a normal 401k plan, you're responsible for the investments on the plan menu, even if you work with a professional like us. I'm still ultimately kind of responsible for the funds on the plan. You're responsible for doing all of the administrative fiduciary items like sending required notices, approving loans, distributions, things that if you don't have a full-time HR department, make it a little bit challenging. There's costs for small businesses that are oftentimes higher than bigger businesses. If you have over 100 employees, you're subject to an audit, and confusion of plan design and enrollment. So the Secure Act created this pooled employer plan structure. So pooled plans, have a third party who helps take off a lot of the required administrative tasks that you have to perform. So you can see on the single employer plan side of this page, these are the things that you'd be responsible for if you've sponsored your own 401k plan outside of a pooled arrangement. Investment reviews, distribution of required notices, filing the Form 5500 and signing it yourself. If you have an audit over 100 employees, you have to do the tasks and then also pay for the audit. In these pooled plans, really only have 3 jobs. You got to monitor the service providers, Transamerica, Morgan Stanley, and TAG is the third-party administrator. You have to deliver payroll data, and even that piece can be automated. And then at the end of the year, there may be some year-end data collection that we need to perform, but nothing like an audit. Kind of simple things, simple questions that you might need to answer at the end of the year. As far as the fiduciary and then so all your fiduciary duties are also outsourced in this type of arrangement. So they don't go away completely. You're still responsible for monitoring service providers, making sure that Morgan Stanley has a good process, and that Transamerica Retirement Services has a good process. But you're not responsible for selecting mutual fund ABC over mutual fund XYZ. We take on that discretionary fiduciary role. It's really like the highest level of fiduciary oversight that you can get in a 401k plan. So huge benefit to the adopters of this program. Here's kind of a summary of all of the key players. I mentioned payroll at the bottom. If you have certain payroll providers, we can integrate this so that once you get it all set up, everything just kind of flows from your payroll. And you don't even have to get involved in a small task every couple of weeks of dropping a file into the retirement plan portal. So all of these things come together, and from your seat, we all kind of work behind the scenes to support the client. So these are kind of the levels of fiduciary advice. We're 338 investment fiduciary, really the highest level of advice you can get. We're completely responsible for the funds on the menu. So when we get this question a lot, so they say want to get started, what do I need to think about? What decisions do I need to make? Because these plans are completely open architecture. So you're able, it's not like a 401k plan in a box where you have to just have certain selections. These are fully customizable plans, even though they're in a pooled arrangement. And to that end, if you have an advisor that you're working with right now, most of the time, they can be your point of contact, provide participant level education, and you can retain that relationship. That person can get compensated for the advice that they provide to your participants. But when it's time to sit down and build the plan, we look at eligibility requirements, part-time versus full-time. How are you going to set that bar? matching contributions. Many of the plans that we've offered with the SBM members have been what's called a safe harbor plan. That allows your plan to not be subject to indiscrimination testing. Kind of a real good benefit as well to the employer, making sure that they can contribute the maximum amount. There are profit sharing opportunities. You might offer loans. All of the things, just because this is a pooled arrangement doesn't mean that you can't offer every bell and whistle available to you within a 401k plan. One quick note on the investments on the plan menu. Institutionally managed funds. We complete our due diligence quarterly and make sure that the right funds are on the plan menu. It's a mix of active investment strategies, and there are passive Vanguard index fund options as well. But there are target date funds offered on a 401k plan, which if you haven't participated in one before, sometimes that's a new investment strategy. The ones that are on the SBAM PEP are with the American funds. They've done a really good job over a long period of time. But what they do is they build an asset allocation for you based off your target retirement year. And then that allocation gets managed as you get closer and closer to retirement. The fund becomes more and more conservative, locks in your gains, and switches to a retirement income objective, so that you can take distributions in retirement. They're a really, really successful investment. They've led to really good participant outcomes. And the American funds are kind of best in class. So we're happy that we're able to deliver those types of benefits to the SBAM PEP members. So just to summarize the benefits of the PEP, you've really simplified administration, greatly reduced and almost completely eliminated fiduciary liability, flexible plan design, so it's not a 401k in the box. You can keep your advisor if you have one right now, and you have a good relationship with that person. If you don't, by the way, there are people we can connect you with. Cost savings, really important. This is a pooled plan arrangement, but because of the economies of scale, SBAM has been able to get their members, kind of a better deal than they'd be able to get on their own. So there are, institutional cost investment options, lower fees for some of the things that you have to do for the plan, and even the record keeping, and then investment oversight, is priced in a way that kind of takes into account the whole plan, not just your individual. So, and then if you have an audit now, definitely take a hard look at this, because we're able to eliminate that audit work that you have to do and greatly reduce the costs. So, that's what we wanted to share with you today. We can open it up for questions. I have my contact information on the screen, and Kelly put into the chat the website that has a lot of information about this program. It's sbam.org/retirement. You can request a proposal through that website. And there are also a lot of good resources to educate you about tax credits, pooled plan arrangements, all the things you'd want to know if you were due diligencing this program.
There was one question in the chat, John, which you may have addressed, but will employers that offer SEPs be compliant?
That offer. Oh yeah, I answered that.
Okay, good.
Those SEPs, yep. Simplified Employee Pension Plan, yeah, that counts as a retirement plan. So I'll show you this page. These SEPs, Simples, and 401ks count as the employer sponsored options. The auto IRAs are what the state is planning to mandate.
Okay.
I think we also have an article on that on the website if anybody wants more information.
Okay. I did allow our participants to be able to unmute and ask a question live if you would like, or if you want to drop any questions in the chat. I'll give you a couple seconds to be able to do that if you wish.
When do you expect this to pass and be actually a requirement?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, with the people that we've talked to, SBM, I'm not a lobbyist, but the folks that to have these conversations on behalf of SBM members, um, think that this might pass. So they've been brought into the conversation, I know, on what it would look like and how they might educate people on this mandate. Um, but it seems likely that it will pass likely this year. But I don't know. Kelly, maybe you have more information than me on that.
No, we were monitoring it. Our advocacy team at SBAM is monitoring it, and there hasn't been any new information. If there is, we'll make sure to include that in our member communication. So just make sure that you're on our distribution list to be able to receive our member emails. If you're not sure if you are, just reach out to me. I'll include my email address here in the chat, but we'll continue to monitor it and communicate to our members where it stands. Any other questions? So John, Kyle's wondering, is this PEP good as a startup plan for employers? Sometimes due to cost, I know Simples may be more cost effective.
Typically, simples are less cost effective than this PEP. So we've spent a lot of time making this a really attractive way to start a retirement plan. Most of the plans that have been started within the SBAM PEP are startups, not necessarily existing retirement plans that have folded in, have those too. But because of the tax credits, if you don't have a retirement plan right now, there really aren't any startup costs at all for the first 3 years for this plan. Everything else can be kind of passed on to the participants. So
Yeah, John, and I'll add too that in the simple plan, you do have to do either a 2% non-elective contribution for everybody, regardless of whether they're participating, or a 3% match. And right now, with the tax credit, there is no credit coming back on that mandatory match that has to go in. If you implement a match inside of the 401k, you're going to get that up to $1,000 per employee back.
and can an advisor outside of Morgan Stanley use this product? Absolutely. So that was really important to SBAM when we designed this plan, that other advisors can be compensated for providing participant education. We've found that advisors really like this too because they get to do what they do best, which is, educate people, meet with individuals without having to run the 401k plan in the background. So it's been kind of a win-win.
Okay.
Great. Well, thanks for taking the time today, everyone. If you need anything from us, follow up. sbam.org/retirement is a great way to get in touch with all of us. Thanks.
Oh, looks like we have one more question.
Oh, one more question.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
We're waiting anxiously. When do you have to offer the Yeah, so that's gonna get debated, I'm sure. There will be a period of time, if this mandate passes, and it hasn't passed yet. I think they have laid out like a year of education period in the proposed legislation. And then after that, that's when you start getting the fines if you don't offer this type of program. It's required for all business owners as it's written right now in the proposed legislation. I see that follow-up question. So yes, fines for not complying with offering the auto IRA program. So it's happened in, where, you're getting fined a few $100 if you don't offer every year, if you don't offer this type of program.
Okay, well, thank you. Oh, minimum revenue.
Not right now, not as it's written. So, and there's no minimum employee count either. I think really this is larger companies offer these types of programs more, kind of as a matter of just doing regular business. They offer 401k plans. So this is directly targeted at small business. So you have to, this is what type of program do we need to offer? So the state is creating as we talked about, an auto IRA program that would be the way, like their program that you would have to offer if you didn't offer a different type of retirement plan, like a 401k plan, a simple or a SEP. So if you have your own IRA, then you're set. If you have a simple IRA for your employees, then you're set. And if you do, you may want to consider a 401k plan, but you won't have an issue with the mandate.
Do self-employed fall under this?
Self-employed, for this pooled plan, it doesn't typically end up being the best option. I would look at a SEP rather than just being yourself in a pooled plan. There's also solo K plans, that you can explore with, investment advisor. We've done them for folks in the past as well. Typically want, at least 2 or 3 employees, if not 4 or 5 for the pooled plan to make sense. Great. Well, thanks for everyone's questions, and
Yeah, thank you.
happy to have discussions offline if you
Yeah.
have anything specific to your company. Thanks.
Yes, yes. All right. Thank you so much, Jen and Chelsea. Everyone have a great rest of your day.
Bye-bye.
Yep, bye.